Welcome to WWB Worldwide Broadcast. We're back for episode 12, guys, and today we have a tournament. We also have a couple other topics to talk about. Billy, you were the big winner, but I think we're all kind of happy for this tournament. On the Untap tournament, we all placed pretty well. I mean, Billy was first, Tyler was second, and I was third. So WWB kind of just won the tournament as it was. So it's definitely a good take. What's your guys' initial reactions to the tournament, the Untap tournament?
Got scammed game one against Billy, but it's alright. I thought it was good. We decided to finish it a little bit earlier because we only had 3 games left on Wednesday, and just to get it, people would have a free night Thursday, basically. Made it a little bit better for everyone. But yeah, I thought it went pretty well. My opponents were Alec Kermit and then just Harry and Billy. So,
yeah, I was definitely feeling it. That tournament felt definitely kind of long. It did drag a little bit, I will say.
It's okay. That's what happens when you don't get a first round bye every tournament, Harry.
Yeah,
It feels a little longer and stressful,
Mm-hmm. How about you, Billy? How did it feel?
Yeah. What about you?
Felt pretty good. I mean, I played Adam M, and then Boodle, then Tyler, and then no, I'm missing one. I played Boodle, then Jesse, then Tyler. Yeah. So I mean, I had diverse opponents. It was good. I liked it. Obviously, and I won, so it was fun.
Yeah, like you said,
Guaranteed not scam Tyler around our first game. That felt great. That was fun.
Yeah, I was a little glad that we were able to knock it all out on Wednesday because, yeah, like I said, that was nice. Definitely with scheduling and stuff. It definitely was putting a little wrench in my week. But you know what? I was happy every time we got to get on, and like I said, I was really looking forward to it. I always made sure to post. I was excited. It was kind of nice to come home to something and be like, all right, this is what I got planned. This is what I got going on. But at the end of the week, definitely on the other aspects of life were hurting a little bit just because it did feel like I had a lot of ward going on. But like I said, definitely enjoyed it, every moment of it. Had a lot of up and down matches. Ran the Elkanos deck. I had to do my first match was against Michelle, and I had to do the mirror match. And somehow in a deck with only 1 Harpy and 3 Elkanos, I only had 4 creatures. I pulled out the Harpy a lot more than I was, statistically supposed to. And so let's just say that definitely made my games very wonky when I was like, oh yeah, let me start with the Harpy, and now I don't get to get my card's effects or anything going off. So yeah, not exactly the way I wanted my tournament to go, but I'll still take a third. I think I played pretty well. Like you said, we had definitely a good range of opponents. I think, if we want to talk about the kind of decks that were there, it's like I'm trying to think off the top of my head. It's like there's Steam. There was obviously a couple Elkanos. Tyler had Sharks. We had like an Assassin deck that was Brian was running that had a lot of like Assassins and faster creatures. And I think a couple Jerrys too. So there's definitely a different mix, of decks that I wasn't really expecting. But what do you guys think? What other decks were we seeing at the tournament?
Yeah, Billy's Squire deck and the Undead King deck.
Oh yeah, Undead King with Jesse and then Billy Squire. Yeah.
Some Steams. Do we say Steams running around?
Yeah, definitely a couple Steams.
Alec had Eternal Dragon.
Oh yep, Alec had the
dragons.
Was
fun to see.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I think overall it was good. Xavier had like a Time Weaver. I'm trying to think what else was in Xavier's deck. I remember watching that one. That one was a pretty.
I didn't really get to watch this game, but the only thing I really knew about his deck is he had a beaver in it. I was like, that's freaking sick.
Yeah. Hey, he actually was able to like sack off the beaver quite consistently.
That's
so,
awesome.
I know. I was very surprised too, because like with beaver you're always like, ooh, it's kind of a hit or miss. Either you do get the sack or you don't. But yeah, definitely.
Maybe it was a Scarlet, and then he was like, I need to throw something else for 10 HP. True. And I don't have an assassin, so
True. Yeah, we're coming off of a little spicy last episode where we were getting upset with the promos and not having them in the tournament, but overall, I mean, we still love playing Ward, and like you said, it's like I think we were a little heated at that moment, and it's like I'm not mad that they weren't in the tournament. I mean, I don't think it affected the outcome too much, but obviously, having to not plan for those things, like you said, yeah, I'm sure Billy, maybe you have a different take.
I was definitely really thinking about after the finals how much it would have been nice to have Scarlet against Squires with Flame of the Infinite.
Yeah, I think
Flame of the Infinite, nice.
Flame of the Infinite definitely got probably a buff just from not having to think about Scarlet or anything, but yeah,
you got a buff. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess what were the bigger moments? I mean, can you guys think from? Because like you were saying, I mean, Billy, I was pretty impressed. I mean, we'll get to the finals. Maybe just talk about your guys' both your decks a little bit. I mean, I do think a lot of limited summons are definitely starting to become kind of the meta, like you were saying. Undead King, you had 2 Elkanos. A lot of people are
technically, yeah.
A lot of people I think are utilizing those limited summon creatures, and so it's like I think what we were missing in the Gen 2 only was limited summon decks, and I think they're definitely coming out to play now in the mix. So what do you guys think?
Well, what's interesting is that Judgment helps you a lot for Alkanos, but it's also it was also a weapon against limited summons, right? So, like, for example, if I can play, let's say I have 3 Judgments. If I can play one of them on my turn, I kick your birds back to your hand, and then when you put your main one back out, I immediately mind zap it.
Yeah.
Now I could just pick your birds off one at a time, or maybe I have an iron range or whatever. I don't know, but so that's kind of interesting for the limited summons. But yeah, it was. I guess now you say that, like, it's 3 separate decks, but they all do. The last 3 tournaments have been kind of defined by limited summons. Although, I mean, Tyler didn't have a limited summon deck, and he made it to the finals pretty easily. So
yeah, I don't think they're like.
I was at 2 of the finals.
Yeah, I don't think that they're like
totally, right. Yeah, exactly.
I don't think that they're like totally taking over, but yeah, definitely, like you said, I think people are definitely trying to figure out how to utilize the limited summons for sure. And like you said, Billy, I think Judgment is starting. I mean, it is a card that they did put on the list, and I think, maybe that is a reason why maybe the limited summons feel a little better too, because they're like, oh yeah, a card that pushes all my creatures back to my hand, and they can only have 1 copy of it now. It's like, all right, yeah, maybe they feel a little more safe to bring out the limited summons because of that with the whole Judgment. But like you said, definitely still a tool to bounce those limited summon cards back. So like people have to think about it. I know there was a game, where I kind of did that to Michelle, and she had all of her Elkanos out, and it's like now your hand is 12, 13 cards now, and if we do any drawing, it's like now you're just having way more cards, and now you have to think about what cards to get rid of. So definitely an interesting.
Although I will say, Foolish Tricks is an option too. Like, so you can limit someone's love to set up their board and have lots of creatures, lots of magic.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
that's what I was doing. And if
he had Foolish Tricks in his deck, there did.
Yeah, Foolish Tricks can kind of put a dent in that.
No, for sure.
Play heroism. Bam.
Yay.
Yeah, well, it was good though. I mean, we definitely seen some newer people.
Well, it's kind of interesting how you bring that up though. How like Judgment was obviously a weapon against Alkanos, because it's like obviously that deck or that card helps the deck a lot, but also could be used against it in the right moments. So especially in like you play Judgment. They play everything. You play Foggy Night and Divine Sap on the Alkanos, and then it's like, yeah, now what?
Yeah.
Right.
I agree.
I mean, I guess
playing Sharks, it's the most boring fucking sick and tired of gameplay.
Sounds how you really feel.
Sounds like an opinion. That's quite the opinion.
That is how I feel. So sick and tired of playing this stupid deck, bro.
Well,
get me to the ward, please.
I'm just happy to know that my irresponsible take from the very beginning, Sharks will never win a tournament, still is alive. It's still riding. Yeah. So you know what? I'm happy about this.
This is what we sacrifice, Billy. See,
this is what we sacrifice.
Well, you got one more. You got one more tournament to try and piss off Chris, all right? So
yeah, but
I don't want to play it anymore.
At least he'll be at that tournament too, though. he doesn't do the online ones, but yeah, definitely.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
at least the Sharks had a pretty good showing. They still took a second. Like I said, it definitely can get there.
Placement they've had.
It's the highest.
I think it definitely get it, and that's why my take was.
I did also I did also want to bring up that Billy's coming for my neck in tournament wins. I'm at 6 tournament like finals and 3 tournament wins, and Billy's at 3 tournament finals and 2 tournament wins.
Gotcha.
For this season.
Yeah. Since I've played in the game.
All right, that's fair.
Yeah.
How many tournament finals have you been in?
6.
6, and I've been in 3, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, because the 3 that I've lost to 2 to you and then 1 to Harry.
Fair enough.
You know.
Well, speaking of finals, let's move to the finals. I'm sure people are very curious. I mean, you guys both had your decks.
Wins Lexington. Oh, I did want to bring up Casey said I run Summoner, which is unique for limited summons since they don't stay on the field.
Yeah, you're right. Another Summoner deck. But yeah, like you said, limited summons. Well, I think they're definitely running rampant. They're definitely starting to come into the whatever we want to call it, the meta, I guess.
Awful.
But I do want to talk about the finals. I do want to make sure we get our thought. Like I said, you guys both were in it, so you both had your decks. Maybe just go a little bit run through of what our decks were and what our goals were trying to be to win the tournament, or what we were like thinking about. If you want to start, maybe with Tyler, since you're the second.
Yeah, I was just playing Perfect Shark. Basically, just had like 3 sharks, 3 great white, 3 perfect shark, and then I had 3 silence from the grave, 3 cosmic negation, and then 3 twister, dragon rage, and then etc.
Toad.
3 scroll of silence, psych toad. But basically, the idea behind it was to get cosmic from the grave or cosmic negation or silence from the grave as soon as possible. Obviously, both those cards have a similar effect, and because you have 6 of those cards in a 30-card deck, you have a 1 in 5 chance to draw into those cards on each draw. So obviously in a starting hand, you could obviously see the idea that if you draw into that on an opening hand, you could play it, lock someone out, and then depending on what card it is, if it's silence from the grave, you can obviously play Twister later on if you get it in the next turns. But the whole point is basically just to lock them out for as long as possible, and then draw into Perfect Shark, slap Heroism on them, and then just smack you over and over and over again. And it works great. Like in a game against Harry that I beat him in, locked him out for the entire game and he couldn't win. Game against Billy, almost did it, ran out of gas on the last turn, and then lost the game because of it. So it's a very, all or nothing strat. If you get the deck is like layered on top of each other correctly, you could literally just win the game as soon as you lock them out from the first turn. But if you can't and you run out of gas, then it just happens. So.
Yeah. I'm kind of curious to kind of do a little bit of a tangent, but like you said, with the whole locking out, I think that is another big moment in this tournament that I feel like maybe the ward staff and just players in general kind of seen of just like how oppressive you can kind of lock a player out of the game. Like you said, Tyler, with like cosmic negation, sounds from the grave. I mean, heck, that was kind of the way the game felt. Even KC in the chat, I'm sure at one of those tournaments, he felt that too, Tyler. I mean, you like to tell that story too. About how he was kind of just locked out for a whole game. And so it's just like there are a lot of cards in Ward that can totally just shut you down and like don't really even give you any play.
If you want to bring that up, I mean, obviously I'm playing a deck that has really weak creatures, and obviously you build up to stronger creatures. So if those 3 weaker creatures die, you lose the game. And the game that I had against Billy in the first game, he ended up going first. He drew into Foggy Night, Flame of the Infinite, and an Assassin, and obviously I have to start with Sharkling, or my Psychic Toad. So he goes first. He plays Foggy Night turn 1. I obviously don't have any cards in my hand, and he proceeds to one-shot the Sharkling I bring out. Makes sense. Then I brought a Psychic Toad, I think, and he brings out Kraken, kills the Psychic Toad pretty easily. Still can't play anything because of Foggy Night. I have to play another Sharkling, kills that Sharkling pretty easily, and then I ended up drawing into my Sharkling Great White for my last creature, which was fantastic. But he knew obviously that I was on the, or when the Foggy Night ran out, he ended up playing Visitor from Beyond to dig it out. I didn't have a counter, played another Foggy Night. Got my Great White, and he was able to do 72 damage with an Assassin hit because of the Flame of the Infinite, and then he ended up I didn't draw, or I still had Foggy Knight on it. There was 1 turn left, and I drew into my perfect shark, and he ended up dealing 23 damage, and I had 18 left with the Kraken, or with, it was the other one that you had. The other 100 HP creature.
Steam Spider.
Yeah, Steam Spider finished him off, and that ended the game. So, but yeah, it was basically like 6 turns, and I didn't get to play a single card that wasn't a creature. My cemetery was 3 Sharklings, a Psychic Toad, and a Great White. So,
and definitely, like I said,
that can only really happen to shark decks, obviously.
Well, and like you said, it just definitely showcasing, like you said, it's like, what was your deck was like a shutdown, and like a lot of people that were playing Foggy Knight, were playing these cards that do just shut down your opponent, like you said, Sounds from the Grave, Cosmic Negation. Billy, what about you? How about for you? How was the finals? Like, I mean, obviously, I'm very curious about you explaining your deck too, and maybe talking a little bit about that, because obviously, I think it was kind of a new version of a deck that we really haven't like seen too much of.
Well,
yeah.
Yeah. I know you said it. You've told me before it was a deck that was in Gen 1, but obviously none of us.
Well, kind of, yeah. I mean,
gotcha.
Not this exact build, and I just kind of like there's Foggy Help, yeah. The Gen 1 build of like we'll call it like the precursor to my deck was a deck that my friend Kevin runs. Well, he ran in Gen 1 is he'd get a wizard effect for make a shield, and then put squires, and then as many Flame of the Infants you fit, and then the rest of your hand is just blocks for negation to make sure that they won't die. And then you're dealing like it's just a wave of damage, and you can't overcome it. It's kind of like how if you get your field set up here with Alkanos, it kind of feels like it's just overwhelming, and you can't really come back from it.
Right.
So I took that with Foggy Knight. And the real combo is Squire plus Demonic Magic. So it's a bit of a mix of, I was trying to build an Iron Range deck, and Joe's been like asking for like, someone needs to build an Iron Range deck. Someone needs to build like a creature negate shutdown deck. And I was like, I've been working on it for a while, but like Iron Range kind of felt clunky because if you get it first, then it works, and then you can play Foggy Knight. But if you play Foggy Knight and you can't play it, I'm like, it's not really fitting. And then I was like, oh wait, Demonic Magic's the answer because it plays under Foggy Knight, and if you play it on a Squire, then the bad part about the cost of Demonic Magic is it halves your creature HP. If my limit summons don't have HP, there is no cost. It goes on a Squire and he gets an extra 5, and I'm shutting down all the other effects. And so, in an effect heavy, I think most people play with creature effects. And if you build your strategy around it, which I do too, and you don't get to use it, it's kind of hard to come back from. The only tough match I really had where I was like kind of sweating a little bit was against Tyler, because I know he doesn't care about creature effects because the Sharks also are an Iron Range power user, right? So, yeah, it's pretty much just get Squires out, put Demonic Magic on, Foggy Knight, a Flame of the Infant's great if you have it. And then it was 1 Kraken, 2 Steam Spiders for just big fat walls that could just take damage. Revival Priest if you need to. Assassin if you need to pick off a quick damage. And rinse and repeat, so that's about it.
Yeah. No, I think the big takeaways, at least that I noticed, I watched the whole finals, is like you said, the 100 HP creatures, they definitely just did work of like, all right, there's cards that can shut me down. These creatures can take 3, even maybe 4 hits before they go down. And like you said, if you are able to just pull them back out of the graveyard, again, it's like another 3 or 4 turns that you're just keep giving yourself of like, here, they have to, figure out how to deal with this for this long while your Squires were just hitting them. And also with the Squires too, it's like the Squires, you can just bring them all out. They're kind of like the strongest limited summon, I think, in the game, of just like, bring it out instantly, all on the same turn, right? It's like, I'm pretty sure that's how they work, right? You don't have to like wait.
They're magic cards being played, right? So if you had 3 in hand, you go all 3 of them.
Just spit them all 3 out.
Whereas like Alkanos 1 per turn, Bees 1 per turn, Summoner you're only at 1, Necromancer you only get 1, right?
Same with Shark, you only get to do the 1 level. Bring it
It's 1 summon.
Yeah. I can't remember if I ever brought it up to you, Billy, but I actually made like a pretty big misplay that I in that game, in the finals game against you. Basically, when I had my Holy Light, and I used it to bring out a Twister. But if I would have used it to bring out another Cosmic Negation, I would have had the one. Basically, when I ran out of gas, I drew into a card. It wasn't what I needed. Passed to you, and when it got to me, my next two cards were Cosmic Negation, Silence from the Grave. And it's like that Twister. It's like Cosmic Negation is technically that third slow, like, weird card draw.
Yeah.
That it's like a card. Yeah, it's like it would have. But yeah, things like that. That's what.
Well, that's just draw at that point
level.
Because you're trying to I mean, if you misplay one turn, that could be it.
Yeah, exactly. And I misplayed there. Like, I should have waited with the Holy Light. I was greedy and used it on a Twister, when in reality I should have waited for the Cosmic Negation to come up and go again. So.
Yeah. And I mean, I was just getting beaten. I was just waiting to get an opportunity.
I burnt that game too, because I think you only had 3 counters in your game, and I had already burned all 3 of them with my Scroll of Silences in the beginning. So it's like, I'm safe for the
very beginning. I was fuming.
Yeah, and I was like, he's only gonna have Scroll of Silences, and I don't have any counters in this deck, so I don't need to carry about that. But yeah, just one turn, and then I got to his turn. Played triple Squire, double Flame of the Infinite into Foggy Night. It's like, yep, it's wraps. And then Perfect Shark just ended up being on the bottom, so couldn't get the last evolution. But...
Yeah, and I think just
had him on the ropes. Oh, and even came down to the last turn. I crit.
Yeah, that was a big crit. And the crits.
I was there's no way he's critting.
I just like.
Yeah, I just need to hit 50 or over.
I just like the crits make Billy happy too, because he's just like, hey, there's a crit and the untap. He just wants to make the point. Yeah. Speaking too with the ward staff, I think they're definitely keeping an eye on the fact that, like you said, it's like a lot of these cards. I think they're definitely starting to key in on like Foggy Night and, like you were saying, Cosmic Negate. These cards, like what people were using to shut down the board.
Yeah, but that's the thing about cards like Cosmic Negation, is there's like really balanced. Like, Silence from the Grave is different because you can use that in any deck. Cosmic Negation only works in decks that function well where there's no magic being played. So Perfect Shark and Creator with Heroism, because it's like, if you're an assassin and there's no magic like basically any other creature that isn't Perfect Shark or Creator, it's like you don't really want to not have, like, you'd rather have something like Foggy Night, where it's like at least you get to play something in your deck, and you can. But it's like with Cosmic Negation, you just want raw stats that will just beat anybody up, and there's nothing other than, well, I guess you could put Old God as well, but if you're gonna do Old God, just do Creator. It's just better.
Yeah, Cosmic Negation's a balanced. It's a nicely balanced card that affects really both players, and it's not like it's a legendary, sure, so it's hard to get, but I mean. In Gen 1, got played in one deck. Guess what? It's Creator Heroism, right? So, yeah, and it makes sense. My creature, Cosmic Negation is the card that says, my big Unga Bunga will beat your Unga Bunga for 3 turns.
Mm-hmm.
Let's play. And guess what Shark deck is? My big Unga Bunga will beat your big Unga Bunga. So, that's why it makes sense.
And I've mentioned to the both of you, I think Perfect Shark functions the absolute best, even better with Creator, because it has that ability to re-heal and stack another Perfect Shark. Creator with no magic runs out of steam eventually.
It does.
It can only lose so much HP. Perfect Shark can lose, and that's the other thing about Cosmic Negation, is because of the stacking rule, you can really, you don't have to play it safe with the stacking. Like, when you're at 60 HP and people can play magic, you probably want to stack. If you're fighting like a creature that's like barely hitting you ever, and you get down to like 30 health and they can't play magic, it's like, yeah, who cares? Like, I'll just sit here and wait.
No, I agree with you guys too, and I think, at the end of the day, there are still cards that can deal with these cards. Like you said, it is you are limited to creature effects, but like you said, I like to bring up irresistible love counters. Kendo Tiger can pop Cosmic Negation, so it's like, again, if you want to have a deck where you don't want them to Unga Bunga, what was I saying? Kendo Tiger, he can break that. Bunnysaurus can also negate it underneath it, and then like Hive Lord can also pop it. So like you said, there are still ways to deal with it if that is something that does become like very meta. And like I said, I guess again, it's like, with our takes from last episode, it's like, I think I want to see more iterations of tournaments, because like you said, I'll admit my deck, I don't think I came very prepared for this tournament. There was cards like Heroism, there's cards like Cosmic Negation that kind of shut me down. I mean, it didn't make my game unplayable, but it still is. It's something that definitely countered me a little harder than I was expecting. So like you said, I do want to see how people kind of adjust for the next tournament in Lexington, and just see where do we go from here? What are people kind of thinking to deal with this kind of meta, I guess, that we're in right now?
I think the most important thing to think about when you're preparing for these tournaments is you build your deck and you say, great, I like my deck, and then you say it is strong against this, and then you can say it is weak against this, and then you look at the weak stuff and say, okay, of the weak stuff, what one or two cards burn the piss out of me, and I cannot if this gets me, I am hosed. And then you say maybe it's Cosmic Negation. Okay, do I have anything in my deck that can deal with it? No. Do I need to put something in my deck that can deal with it? Yes. What do I have to take out? So you start doing this take the worst thing and say, how can I mitigate that? And then everything in between, you can kind of deal with it on the spot, because you can't make a fully counterproof deck. But I mean, if you can identify from the very beginning, hey, Cosmic Negation's a real problem, and then if you know someone is maybe they play Shark, it's Cosmic Negation makes a lot of sense in their deck. I better be maybe I hold on to my Kendo Tiger and wait until they play it, so I get rid of it right away. So it's stuff like that. Preparation is thinking about not necessarily when the meta is developed, but this is my deck. What do I need to prepare for? And what's a complete showstopper? And just go from there. For me, I had big fat 100 HP, so I can withstand the Unga Bunga hits and wait for it to die. Unless Tyler pulled it out, but he didn't, so thank you. But, that's how it goes. And sometimes you get lucky on draws, sometimes you don't. And that's just Ward.
Yeah.
That's any card game.
Well, it's just card games.
Yeah, I agree. Well, at the end of it, though, congratulations, boys. Like I said, we were the top three. So, WWB, I would say, won this tournament. So there you go. That's the challenge for all the other competitors. You gotta start beating these WWB guys. We're
by the way,
on top right now.
Grave gets blown up by Twisters. If anyone didn't know. So you guys.
Oh yeah, that's new. Well, okay, Tyler can be Ward, I'll be Wide, and then Harry can be Broadcast. How about that?
Okay, I'm the B. Because I got the bird. Because I got the birds, right? Yeah, that's the.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. But yeah, just to wrap up the the online tap tournament or Untap tournament, how do you guys feel about it? It's what are your kind of final takes? I guess this is where I want to know. It's was this something you think in the future they could do, or what what are your where should they go with these tournaments? What can we give the feedback to the Ward guys? Maybe would be a good way to.
I was actually gonna throw it back at you guys, because I know you guys have irregular schedules. For me, I work 9 to 5 every day, and or I guess 7 to 4, but it was pretty easy, and I had a good time. It was low dedication, but I know it might have been a little bit more tricky for y'all, so I was curious to see what you had to say about it.
You can start, Tyler.
Yeah, it was tough. I don't know. It's our job obviously doesn't grant I don't know, basically, not to get super weird, but obviously we have a union job, and there's seniority and things like that. And Harry, he is pretty easy to get granted 8-hour days.
I'm higher up on the seniority. Let's just say
I'm pretty low, so it's pretty hard for me. And the thing about it too is if I go to work and I see I have a long day, I'm okay, I can get done sooner. I get done sooner, and they're oh, he got done so soon. We could go get him to do something else. And then it's so it just doesn't really. It's a luck of the draw thing. It's that's why I was even requested on Wednesday. I was well, they already told me yesterday that they're not guaranteeing that I'm gonna be done at a certain time. So if we could just get it done tonight, it would be great. So I would just, I appreciate just weekend tournaments and just one day. It's also easier. Having a wife and kids, it's just not oh yeah, I get home from work and by the way I'm going to play on my computer for 2 hours, and it's obviously you can't I can't do it. I was at the tournament, but it's just hard. Obviously you want to spend time with your kids when you get home from a long day of work and stuff like that. So it was fun. I enjoyed it. would I want to do it again? Not really. I'd rather just do an Untap tournament that just takes one day.
See, yeah, I'll take it from you. I'm a little torn too. I preach a lot. I'm happy that we have, like I said, an online way to get everybody at every corner of at least of the United States at this moment to be able to join in these tournaments. Like I said, I really think that is a great aspect of Ward to have to like be moving forward to get people involved. And again, where I'm torn is like Tyler's kind of saying, it's like weekdays, if that is like the plan, it's like the weekdays do get hard, like he was saying. I mean, we have a lot of commitments outside of just Ward. It's like it's fun, and as silly as it sounds, 6 hours, 7 hours on a weekend I can plan for a lot easier than 4 days in throughout a week. It's like that can, so much stuff can happen. Like you said, we have busy lives outside of this. Like, something might come up and it's like, okay, well, that might just be the reason why I don't get to play. So it's like the more days you add on to a tournament, it's like that's just more days that I have to plan ahead and be like, there could just be some weird wacky thing that goes on in my schedule that messes all this up. So it's
like, it just makes it weird, because it's like when I was playing against Billy in this basically semifinals or the winners finals to make it into grand finals, basically in my mind I was like, I only want to win because I will like have a later time to play tomorrow. It's like that is the only reason I even want to win. It's like I don't, like, obviously I want to win, but it's like I'm more inclined to want to win because of this reason. And it's like I just don't, I didn't like that pressure where it was like when I lost I was like, oh, like I might not even be able to make it tomorrow. Like that's not a great feeling. And it's like, yeah, it's just like it would be super like like if it happens, it happens. But it's like, imagine we get to the Thursday and me and Harry don't get off in time, and it's like
that'd be stupid.
Yeah. It's like, well, I guess I just win, and then it's just like me and Harry, like, yeah, it would just, I don't know, what would be the point?
Well, yeah, that's also like that was in the back of my mind too when I was like, hey, let's just play it, because I'm like, I know you all have weird schedules, and I was like, you're here, let's do it,
Yeah, every day I got done on time. I was like, another day, another day we got it. Like,
no, exactly. I think this is definitely something for the comments though too. So if people watching, like you said, go in the comments if you did participate, if you did watch it, or if you didn't. It's like, maybe just give a reason for like why I did or why I didn't, participate in this tournament, or like was this convenient for you, or like what is your take? Because yeah, I agree. It's like obviously me and Tyler, we have certain schedules, but like Billy was saying, for him it's like, oh, that's actually kind of more convenient to have just 2 games a day for 4 days than so it's like I guess I'm curious too, just like the Ward community. It's like what would we be appreciative, or like what would we want for these tournaments? And like I said, I think all the feedback we could give the Ward staff will definitely help them decide. It's like, okay, in the future, is this something we do, or do we just do those like one-off, like one day, like big tournaments? But yeah, I guess I'm in the camp with Tyler. I would say overall, like I would rather have it just be one day on the weekend or whatever.
I was gonna say something, but then I forgot. Classic.
It's all good. So what about you, Billy? How about for your end there? Let's just close it out on that.
It was great. It was great for me. I liked it. Being able to do. I mean, it was literally one game a night after like round 1. Yeah. But I mean, I was prepared for 2. I mean, it was pretty nice. And then being able to close it out early and just have an extra weeknight, that was nice too. So, I mean, I love it. Maybe it's just something, like maybe it's not for everybody, but it's just another opportunity for like some of the people who have a hard time on the weekend, who only work, maybe they work Wednesday to Monday, or whatever, so, or Wednesday to Sunday. So
right.
Maybe it's good for them, right? So
yeah, not everyone's schedule at work is like, oh yeah, you start at 9:30 and you can be done anywhere between 5:30 and 11:30. It's like, it's a big it's a big pocket of time.
Right, and like the other thing is like, I know y'all love it, and because we're hyper nerds or whatever, but like, not everyone has to go to every tournament. Hyper Ward, yeah, right. Not everyone has to go to every tournament, and having as many tournaments as possible is really so that the most people have equal opportunity to like get in their schedule or their time frame or whatever. So yeah, I'm fine with it that way. If they,
you just have us big sweats.
Sweaty, yeah, right. So I mean, cool. I'm glad we did it. If they decide not to do it again, that's fine. But I liked it. I'd do it again.
I did I remembered what I was gonna say. I did find it interesting. Me and Harry finally had an interaction that we've never had before, in the thought that we were talking on the phone and played each other in a tournament in the same day.
Yeah, because usually tournaments are on the weekend, so it's like we usually we're driving down just chatting, but yeah, we never usually talk. But then on the during work, speaking of being sweaties, we sit on the phone sometimes, and while we're working, we chat about playing wards. I agree. I guess I didn't think too much about it, but yeah.
Ever since Adam started playing too, we've been having like tri-cast, so it's like literally just me, Adam, and Harry all still in the tournament.
The ward is growing. The ward is growing a lot. But yeah, no. Like you were saying, Billy, I do want to shout out, like you said, weekend warriors. We might miss them. I think, for me and Tyler, we're definitely weekday people, but people who do like work on the weekends, I guess you're right. These tournaments definitely would be probably more beneficial for them. And, maybe like I said in the comments, if people do leave that and they're like, well, I work on the weekends, I have a busy schedule. I work, weekends are hard for me. It's like, yeah, then I totally get it. If that justifies it, like you said, me and Tyler are going to do whatever we can to work out these things. Yeah. Is it a little bit inconvenient? Yeah, it is. But, that is at the end of the day, whatever.
We just want to be there. Yeah, it's like,
whatever benefits them for sure. Like you said, it's like that's probably what they should be doing, focusing on. But like I said, I'd like to get that information out to them. And I think if anybody does want to let them know about, their schedules or what works best for them, I'm sure the ward guys would love for you guys to comment and stuff and talk about it. But with that, I think we're going to wrap up that Untap tournament. Like you said, it was a very exciting tournament. Like I said, I don't feel my deck performed the best, but I think there was a wide range of decks and things that we haven't seen before. Like you said, like Steam. There was a lot of other things that, like I said, I wasn't really expecting. So it's like I'm kind of curious. I'm excited for the Lexington tournament coming forward, and then obviously the Ward Bowl. I think we might get a huge variety, and I guess that's one thing. Just to kind of talk about all these things with tournaments is just how many different variations of decks are viable. I come from Yu-Gi-Oh, where it's like usually there's only like 6 maybe great decks that you can run, and even then it's like when you say 6, you really mean there's like 3 with a little bit of variation to them that actually can function very well. You know what I mean? But it's just like in Ward, it feels like there's like a handful of decks that you could easily run that are like, okay, these are still viable. You just have to find the best way to make them. How do you guys feel about that? That's kind of my take with it, is that there's a lot of variation right now in Ward for decks you can run at a competitive level. What do you think?
Yeah, I definitely think there's a lot of decks that you can run. yeah, they're definitely. There's a lot of strong decks, a lot of different archetypes: Foggy Knight, Creator, Perfect Shark, Steam, the new one. Well, I guess it's not the new one, but just the new limited summon Squire deck that Billy ran.
Give it its name, Iron Squire.
Iron Squire, I think, is the name that was given to it.
Yeah, Iron Squire. But then, there's this one more deck that I was trying to remember. Have you guys ever seen that snail movie? It's like the really fast snail.
Oh, Turbo? Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. Yeah.
You have to say there's a variety in decks, right? Because this tournament winner, it was like a Squire deck. The previous tournament was Undead King deck. The previous tournament winner, Alkanos deck. Previous one before that, it was like
Maniac, maybe.
Was it? No. It was one of the. It was the martial arts man multiplayer.
Yeah, nonsense. The zombie dogs.
I don't.
The misplay. The misplay deck that now everybody's in the chat talking about.
Yeah,
Lamau.
Yeah. We got to bring it up just in case anyone's curious. We got a ruling on martial arts man. So for anybody who's using martial arts man, if you have a card that has a modifier on it, let's say you're assassin, you do 3 times damage. So when you use martial arts man with assassin, first you'll do the roll plus your modifier, and then you add 20 to the damage. You don't multiply that 20. So for anybody who cares that much about the rulings like we do because of tournaments, that is now how it officially works. If you play it at home, just add the 20 to the number, because then you get a really big number and it's really fun. But
just play Visitor from Beyond now instead.
Problem solved. Yeah, but anyway, we found out that ruling. That was a big thing at this tournament that I think was something that people will probably, going forward, will definitely make sure that people understand, because like you said, it definitely, people make those decks where they're like, oh yeah, this is a good card in this deck, but then now it's like, oh wait, the ruling is you only add the 20, you don't multiply it into the modifier.
Which, by the way, it was ruled in the Gen 2 tournaments that it was inside the multiplier. So they have gone and obviously looked at cards, and after with some of the mix of Gen 1 and 2, and said, you know what? I know we said it's okay in Gen 2, but we are going to change it. So that's the ruling now. So the good news is that if you want to still do that like wombo combo ×3 with a lot of damage, just use Children of the Force instead.
Yeah.
So
come on, Billy.
Lots of dice.
You should have at least burnt the Maniac down with Scarlet all the way.
Yeah. All right, but anyway, yeah. Good. Like I said, I think the variety of decks, like, I think it is very impressive. Like, I think Ward should be happy with the fact that it's like, I feel like it's hard in card games to really make sure that, like you were saying, Billy, how many different firsts have happened with different decks. It's like there really isn't just like a deck that is sitting like at the top, just destroying all the competition, right? And it's just like, I think that is a good spot for Ward to be at. It's like, I mean, maybe in our heads we think that there's like probably something that's a little stronger than others, but like the statistics, as Billy likes to point out, the statistics show that a different deck wins all the time. So it's just like I really do.
It's healthy.
Yeah, I really think that it is like Ward has found a way to really make it a very healthy dynamic where like everything can kind of get into the tournaments, get into the games, and be viable and competitive. And so it's like I wanted to just give them their props. Like I said, last video we were a little bit on the roast train. We were having our feelings about the whole limited ban list, but like, you know what, I want to make sure we also appreciate the things that are going right, that we do love about this game, because that is something I do love about this game. It's like there are tons of varieties of things that you can do with your deck, cards that you can easily slot into a lot of decks too. So it's like I want to make sure people understand that it's like I love that aspect, that we are getting such a variety of decks.
Thanks for the follow, Bowler 17.
Ooh,
homie.
Yo,
shout out.
Stick.
Yeah,
shout out. Yeah, Harry, I was gonna say, like, it's nice because it's like, I mean, the main staple of my deck was Squire and Demonic Magic, and we really haven't seen them being played in tournaments yet, which means, like, there are cards yet to be explored in, like, I don't know, in the rare category, the epic category, the common category. I mean, like, there's plenty of cards out there that have not been, like, used in a competitive setting yet, and maybe the next combo is going to be new at Lexington. We'll find out.
No, for sure. Yeah, but I think, like you were saying, Billy, we can move forward with it. But yeah, I was really excited with that tournament, and definitely looking forward to the next one. I wanted to do another little fun segment. I call it Best of Threes. And so what I wanted all of us to do now, speaking of decks, I want us to all have to make a deck where you could only have 3 copies of each card. So we're all only going to pick 10 cards for our deck, and we're going to have to try to make a deck that we think would be like the best, like, 3. You have to have 3 copies of every card that you put in the deck, and we're all going to try to, like, think of it out, because like I know a lot of you guys are gonna be like, oh, legendary cards or things like that, but like I think it's actually gonna be a little trickier. So I really wanted to like pick our brains. So I called it Best of Threes. All right, so I want us to go around, and so we're each gonna just pick one card, and we're gonna for our deck, but we'll go in like a cycle. Okay.
Wait, are we allowed to use the same card?
Yep. So we can't use any of the limited cards. So no limited, no promos, none of that. It has to be a card right now, with the way the limited ban list is, that you can make a deck full of just. But each card that you pick, you have to have 3 copies of it in your deck, which I think is a very hard thing for Ward, because in Ward, I mean, if people don't know, it's like, most decks, you usually don't put 3 copies of many cards in your deck. So it's like, I'm kind of curious. So like I said, and I think another fun rule would be, if someone else picks a card, the other players can't pick that card. So we all have to have 10 unique cards. So as we get further through this, it's gonna get a little crazy about what we're picking. All right, but yeah. So
who goes first?
I'll let the winner. So we'll go Billy, Tyler, then me, since that was the placings we did in the last tournament. So Billy's first. So you get to pick your first card that you're gonna have 3 copies of, and like I said, we'll go down. So we're basically gonna do it 10 times. Yep, everyone's gonna have 10 cards.
All right, I'm picking my card. It is not what you think. And I'm only doing this because I don't want anybody else to make a boring, stupid deck. So I'm just going to say Perfect Shark. I have other plans for it.
Okay. Billy's taking 3 Perfect
Sharks. I have
Sharks.
other plans.
That's actually smart. I think Perfect Shark might be the one deck where it's like you get a lot of 3 copies. All right. Tyler takes Foggy Night. Okay. Yeah. Fine. Let's see here. I'll go. So I need to take 3 of one card. I'm going to take. You know what? I'm going to take 3 Dragon Tamer. Dragon Tamer is going to be my card that I take. Oh, yeah. Don't think about it too much.
All right.
All right, Billy. What's your card? Remember, at the end of this, we're going to see whose deck will be
You've been thinking about this.
Yeah, we're going to see whose deck will be the best.
So, fine. Sounds from the Grave.
Sounds from the Grave. Okay. Yep. That's a good card.
Flame of the Infinite.
Flame of the Infinite. Oh, okay. Wait a minute. Are you both just gonna be picking your decks that are flip flopping over?
That's kind of funny.
All right, I'm taking Eternal Dragon because I need my 3 copies of Eternal Dragon.
Yeah, sure.
So Dragon Tamer, Eternal Dragon. You make sure you keep track of your cards, boys.
Okay. I'm gonna pick. Oh gosh. I'm Twister.
All right, 3 Twisters to Billy.
Hell yeah, Creator's Gift.
Creator's Gift. Oh dang, yeah. I should probably take. We'll take. Yeah, 3 Celestial Powers. I guess we'll have to snag them up since they're available. All right, Billy, back to you.
All right. Oh, let me write these down. So I said Perfect Shark. I said. What's my second one? Sounds.
Yep.
And then I pick Twister. I'm gonna pick. This is kind of fun. I like this. I can't pick all your call. I'm gonna pick.
It's fun that you can't pick. Yeah, I was about to say it's fun that you can't pick a lot of the powerful, limited cards. So it's like cards that are in a lot of decks. All right, Ghost Form for Billy. All in one for Tyler. Oh, Tyler's bringing back the Gen 2. I was about to say, Tyler, with the Maniac deck, that was probably another deck where 3 copies were pretty common in a lot of your things.
Dude, I literally just have the fucking, minus Flame of the Infinite. I basically am just building the Maniac deck.
Hey, that's all right. We're trying to see what would be the best, 3-card deck. Okay, back to me. Let's see. I still have dragons, so I need dragons to bring out the Eternal. Well, technically the 3 Eternal Dragons.
Yeah, but you need other cards.
Yeah. Let's see. I'm gonna this might sound crazy. I'm gonna take 3 Mimic Chests.
Lamau.
Yep. I'm taking 3 Mimic Chests.
Damn, that is crazy.
Yeah, that's crazy. Scroll Sounds.
Ooh.
Red Butter.
Oof. Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, with Sounds from the Grave. Oof. Billy definitely got a good combo there.
Assassin.
Yeah.
No one said it, or did Billy? You say Foggy?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, Tyler's has Foggy Night. Oh, dang.
Holy, you think I'm picking all this equipment without Foggy? That was the first card I picked because I was like, that's the hottest card I got.
You know what? With that, I'll take the Cosmic Negation because I need something to negate you guys, and I think
that next. That's good.
I think Dragon deck will play underneath that. So there you go, Cosmic Negation.
Piece of crap. I was gonna pick that next. Okay, so this is starting to get hard.
You're at 6. This will be your 6th card that you got to pick 3 copies.
6th card. I gotta think about what y'all pick so I can pick it out of you. What do I need? This is just for fun. I'm gonna go with the wild pick. Actually, not even that wild. I'll take Phoenix Armor.
Ooh, okay. That's an interesting one.
Legendary Helm.
Oh, all right.
Yeah, all right, buddy.
All right.
That was good.
Here comes my sneaky pick that I think might have deserved to be up higher. I'm gonna take 3 Heroisms.
Have it.
Oh yeah, scare Tyler a little bit with his equipment deck under Foggy. I might just equip his creature with heroism to stop all that.
You could. You could.
All right.
I'm gonna pick. We're not playing with Visitor Hoylite, so I'll take Frog of Fortune.
Okay.
Bitch. That's what I was taking next.
Gotcha.
Okay, this is. I should probably pick this one last because no one's gonna pick this.
Good way to strategize. Come on. What do you got, Tyler? Off the dome. What is it?
Forgotten one.
The Forgotten one? Oh, wow. Okay. Was not expecting
that.
He's
going for the speed stretch.
The speed. Well, I took Celestial Power, though, so I feel like that was the best speed buff. But, yeah, maybe. Even with Flame of the Infinite, I guess you could get quite a buff with that. All right, let's see here. I'm going to take... I need some more creatures. I am going to take... You know what? We'll take 3 Kendo Tigers. I feel like we can make that work. 3 Kendo Tigers. We're going to need them. We're going to need them. 3 Kendos.
My man. Okay. I have 1 creature so far. It's Perfect Shark. So I'm going to take Raccoon Knight.
Oh, okay. This man's banking on the Raccoon Knights. All right.
Need something.
Legendary gloves.
All right. Let's see here. I am going to take another creature. I'm going to take Demon Dragon. You got to have the Demon Dragons just in case you don't get the Eternals.
It does sound like you're building a Alec Kermit's deck.
Yeah, I kind of am. I'm feeling like I'm taking the Dragons this time, Alec, just for you, buddy.
That's nice. Give me 3 Undead Kings.
3 Undead Kings? 3 Perfect Sharks, 3 Undead Kings, 3 Raccoon Knights. Okay. Are we at 9? This is 9, right? We got one more card after this?
That's 9.
Oh, boy. What do you got, Tyler?
Fuck, I had it, and then I lost it. Fuck.
Don't you hate that?
Legendary, forgotten one, legendary. Oh, dude. Whatever, I'll pick the other one. Hope the other. Oh, never mind. Magic Eater.
Okay. Yeah, I think what I have to end off with is I think I'm going to need to take Negating, and so I think I'm probably just going to take 3 Melody of the Deeps just so that I have negation.
Fair.
Yep. So then I think we got one more card. This will be the last.
One more card. What do I want as the last card? What would do me well? Melody was a good choice. What sounds good? I really wanted Melody, so I'm a little upset you took it, but it's cool. I'll take... Do we go for memes or we go for fun? Whatever. Give me 3 Goblin Tricks.
Oh, okay. 3 Goblin Trick. Remember, someone's trying...
The one that you guys are never expecting.
Yeah, what is it? 3 Fogman?
Maniac?
Huh?
Is it Maniac? What is it?
3 Orcs.
Ooh, 3 Orcs. Okay. Hey, don't worry. Don't worry. I'm gonna one up Tyler. Ready? 3 apocalypses.
Ah! Yeah,
no, I've had Orc on the back of my mind.
Dragon Bomb, baby.
I'm out, bro.
He's just Maniac V2.
Heck yeah.
I think so, bro.
All right, so Billy, run us through your first. Billy, run us through your deck. So, what is your 10 cards that you have 3 copies of?
Okay, actually though, I think we should make these an untap and play each other. That'd be kind of fun.
Oh, I would love to do that.
That'd be fun. So I've got Perfect Shark, Sounds from the Grave, Twister, Ghost Form, Scroll of Silence, Phoenix Armor, Frog of Fortune, Raccoon Knight, Undead King, Goblin Tricks.
Pretty solid.
Funny part is I was actually already making it in Untap. So I was keeping track.
Pretty solid. All right, Tyler. What's your deck?
Here, 1 sec. I just lost everything because of stupidness.
Yeah, no, I feel like I probably should have been typing mine out too.
Here, you go first. You go first.
Okay, so I had Dragon Tamer, Eternal Dragon, Celestial Power. After that, what did I pick? I picked the Cosmic Negation. Then I had 3 Demon Dragons. And then I had 3 Kendos. I'm not saying them in the right order, but we're getting there. I had 3 Melody of the Deeps. And then we had Apocalypse. Oh, I took... what
were your creatures?
I had Eternal Dragon, Kendo Tiger, and Demon Dragon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, I have 8 cards right now. So what else did I have?
Also, I want to let y'all know. Just looking at the list and realizing this, we picked between us 30 cards to make a deck, and no one picked Backstab.
Yeah, who needs that? Who needs oh yeah, Heroism.
Tyler.
Fuck Backstab. Nah, just kidding. I probably should have actually picked that, but I probably could have used that over the Legendary Helm.
Heck yeah.
Probably, yeah. It's all right. Misplay.
All right, Tyler, do you got your list?
Almost. I think Flame of the Infinite.
I think Alec Kermit would be proud of my deck. I think he'd be happy. Maybe not.
You basically built it.
Well, the way I look at it is, so I have 3. Well, the way I look at it, I have 3 heroism. So in Tyler's matchup, I could play 1 on his creature to stop his effects, but then I could play 1 on my creature to stop if I have to do Apocalypse. I can just have it.
What was the last
heroism
card I had? I have Flame of the Infinite, Assassin, Creator's Gift, Legendary Helm, Legendary Gloves, Forgotten One,
all in one,
and Orc.
Did you say Foggy? Did you say Foggy Night?
Yeah.
I actually really want this match. It'd be really fun. Oh, I should have put Pelling Partridge.
It was Magic Eater.
Magic Eater.
Yeah.
All right. Question is, whose deck won? Don't worry about that. That was a misspeak. All
right, it's too late for Harry.
Yep, we're getting out of hand. Take the drinks away from me. Whose deck won? Let all the comments decide. Let the people decide. I again, here, Billy, go through yours real quick so everybody can hear them again.
Sure. I'll start with creatures, then do the magic. So I got Undead King, Raccoon Knight, Perfect Shark. Then for magic, I got Sounds from the Grave, Twister, Ghost Form, Scroll of Silence, Phoenix Armor, Frog of Fortune, and Goblin Fix. So we can make these you can put them on the screen or screenshots.
Yeah, I can send you the screenshot on Untap.
Yeah.
But I have Magic Eater, Flame, or I'll do the creatures and magic first. I have Assassin, Forgotten One, and Orc. And then I have Magic Eater, Flame of the Infinite, Foggy Night, Creator's Gift, Legendary Helm, Legendary Gloves, and All-in-One.
Nice. Yep. And then, like you said, I have Dragon Tamer, Eternal Dragon, Celestial Power, Cosmic Negation, Demon Dragon, Kendo Tiger, Melody of the Deep, Apocalypse, Heroism. Hold on, I'm thinking that's 9. I had 1 more. What else did I have? Anyway, doesn't matter too much. But anyway, whose deck won? I think we got to pick from those 3. You know, I think it's going to be quite a close matchup. I'm a little worried. Like I said, Cosmic Negations are nice. Billy, you have Scroll of Silence plus Sounds from the Grave. That's a little scary. And then Tyler, definitely if Foggy Night lands, I feel like we're doomed for it potentially. So, but anyway,
I want to play these on Untap.
Yeah, I definitely. And then we got to see who actually just who wins it out of all of them. So for sure, I'm excited. So there you go. Maybe that's a wager match in itself. Whose deck will win with? But again, I just thought it would be a fun little thing to go over. Just like what is like best. Just like having to have have 3 card copies of in a deck, like what's the best deck you can make? I think we were talking about formats with the Ward guys, and it's like this would be a cool format. Well, I don't know how you guys feel. Would you play a tournament where you have to have 3 copies of
fun as hell.
Yeah, I think that would be exciting. You know, you can't have any just like limited 1 card. It has to have 3 copies in the game. So I think that'd definitely be fun.
That'd be kind of fun.
Nah, for sure. So that was my thought with it, but yeah. Anyway, again, go in the comments. You know, first off, like, subscribe. This is a good time to jump in and say this. You know, if you're on Spotify, make sure that you're following. You can comment over there too. I know people are a little less, you know, they don't always remember to comment on Spotify, but do that. But like I said, get in the comments. Whose deck won? You know, Billy, Tyler, or mine. And then, like I said, I'll make sure to put up a little display on there with each person's deck layout if the guys send me them. So we'll get that figured out. But other than that, I mean, like you said, we're kind of coming off a big lull of or a big amount of Ward. I mean, I can definitely say I'm a little the 4 days in a row definitely makes you feel like you played a lot. So it's just like, I don't know, I feel a little burnt out by it. But like, what are final thoughts for you guys? How are you? How's Ward feeling for you? You know, what going up in the future or coming up in the future? What do we got going on? You know.
You kind of brought it up earlier, but we got the Lexington tournament next week. That'll be pretty fun. And then the week after that, it's not going to be a ranked tournament, but we have a tournament at Globe. That's going to be a draft. That should also be pretty fun.
Pack crack.
We have a week break, and then we have the Ward Bowl. So basically the next month, we have like 3 weeks of tournaments, which is pretty exciting. But
How about for you, Billy?
Yeah, I feel like we're getting, you know, close enough to the Ward Bowl. I mean, obviously, the 3 of us we're going to make it, which just depends on the rank. Tyler's already cemented at number 1, so he doesn't have to worry too much about it.
Congratulations, Tyler. You ranked number 1
yeah, big congrats.
Season 1. Woo, woo, woo. Anyway.
Trying to cross.
But yeah, so I think what I'm most excited for is to see how like the Warren Honor shakes up, because this is so right. You're like, you know, this is your last chance to like bring your best deck and bring, you know, develop your strat.
It's going to be really, really, really big because of how many people.
You think so? All right, we're doing what numbers?
Oh yeah, let's get the gambling in right at the end. So if you hanged until the end, you get to see you get to do the gambles.
Have another podcast before it's a thing.
All right, we'll do the high or lower, boys. All right. Here, Tyler thinks there's a big outcome. Let Tyler do his first. How high does Tyler think the showing will be at Lexington?
I'm gonna say more than 24.
24? Okay, that'd probably be the biggest tournament we've had so far.
We had 20 people last time we were there, and that was when the game wasn't even.
Yeah, that's true.
All right. So, do you want to go higher than 24, Billy?
Lower. Lower.
All right,
you can get higher.
Okay, I'm gonna be the spicy one. I'll say
a new number.
I'm gonna say it's higher than 24.
Wait, so we just boxed Tyler?
Okay, fine. Nope, I'm gonna say it's 28. I want to say 30. I really do want to do 30. You know what? Fuck it. I'll do 30. Tyler can have from 24 to 30, and then Billy can just be that guy that has everything underneath. You know what, Billy? We expect it to be big. I do expect it to be big. I think I'm always going to be a high-end guy with it. So yeah, no.
You should be.
No, for sure. I'm excited. Lexington's going to be a good one. So if you can make it out to Lexington, again, make it out. Let's go, guys. Hype it up. We're all going to be coming. We're all going to be there. So, but yeah, no, I think, for my final thoughts, I was kind of just in my head, I was thinking like, Ward is really getting to that point where like, they're having all these stores popping up. A bunch of people are starting to get their product in there, all these card shops all over the United States. It's like, I'm really grateful that it's like I'm going to get to see this game. Like I said, we were kind of at like the early end of the game, but I think like as soon as like this year, like Gen 3, once that release, like all these things, like I am really just excited. Like I think that's going to be like the big like blow up of Ward, and it's really going to be spreading out amongst like the United States and getting quite wide. I mean, they already posted like for next, after the Ward Bowl, technically, like I would call it like the next season, they're going to be doing tournaments in California. And like obviously, you know, with California, there's a lot of broadcasting, a lot of big names, big people that could potentially push this game even bigger and bigger. So it's like that's something I mean, I know it's a little ways on the horizon yet, but like that's what I'm definitely looking forward to, seeing exactly how well the turn the tide is really, the tide is pushing out. The Ward tide is coming. He said the thing. But another thing I want to say right now, for all the people who are around the United States, if you go on their store, and like right now you can pre-order Ward cards, and they're even giving away promos. So again, let's reiterate the promos. If you don't have promos and you want promos, go buy some boxes right now, get it going, and then get your hands on some of those promo cards and get into Ward. Let's go. I love it, guys. But with that, I think we're going to call it a night. That was episode 12, and we'll see you guys later.